Calling this commission meeting to order at 5:30. Sorry, everybody, I couldn't be there today. We're over the phone, but I'm on a work trip and can't be there physically, so I apologize for that. With that being said, I'd like to, if I could, entertain a motion to have someone else chair the meeting to make it more efficient.
I move that we let Jamie Wark be chair of the meeting, please.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Arno and a second by Commissioner.
All right, thank you. Would you, call the roll?
Public comments, sir.
Oh, sorry. Is there any public commentary? All right, thank you. Could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Wark,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles.
Thank you.
All right, we'll start off the meeting with the invocation and pledge by Frank Stevens, please.
Lord, my prayer for our city is unity despite our differences. Help us to embrace our diversity and work together in harmony. Heal the divisions within our city. Bring reconciliation where there's conflict, and bring understanding where there is misunderstanding, and build bridges of respect. Father, foster a strong community with spirit within our city. Give us courage to support one another and to work together for the common good of Lynn Haven. May we be united in our efforts to create a better place for all. Pray for our city employees as they labor daily for the residents of this city. Give them strength, bless them with understanding and compassion. Father, I pray protection over our first responders. Keep our firefighters and our police safe and healthy. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, for public commentary, first person I have is Naylor Bearclaw.
Good evening yet again. My name is Naylor Bearclaw, and I'm just going to comment on something real quick. Ms. Tender, it was said that you were calling out and spoke about corruption, and somebody happened to say we want some faces and put some names on there. Well, the news recently put out a lot of names recently, and if you notice today, a couple people have decided to take a leave of absence from the TDC. One person has resigned, the person that's the treasurer. So, Bernie Thompson's recently sat there and said what he's going to do in Panama City Beach, and there's people like myself who are calling out the things that are going on, especially at the school district. And I was actually met with another gentleman who's a veteran who happened to be on the same wavelength that I am with the corruption and the violation of constitutional rights that we the people have. So you called it out, and then somebody else, well, the news has put it out there today or in the last week. The other thing I'm going to state is that I came here the last time and I spoke about the constitutional rights that people have. Well, doing my research at the school board, I found a flow chart that deals with how they handle business. And so it says on the left side, the school board, and then on the right side, it says the superintendent, and then it flows up, and it says, we the people who are in charge. So I just like to put that out there one more time. So I'm glad Jesse decided to resign over here, because quite frankly, he was just a waste of space. And I don't like his comments that he made, especially to the people that are, some of them that are right here in the public here. And the other comments he made about other people, he feels like he's being attacked. Well, I believe he attacked some people. There's a certain gentleman in the audience right now. I've been following what he's been going through, and I got a lot of great respect for that man. Bernie Thompson, well, he's an officer. He's from the Air Force. He was an officer, so he's a gentleman, and that's what you get to deal with. I, on the other hand, don't happen to share that same great experience. I'm from the enlisted side of the military, and I happen to be below E4. So I'm part of that E4 mafia of, you want it done, we will get it done by any means necessary. So that's the kind of life that I'm about to provide to this entire county and this entire jurisdiction of the 14th. So, Ms. Tinder, I want you to know I've been working on an email for you with all kinds of stuff with Flock and all the other things I told you, including the police officers that did a great job, which, by the way, I went to the child support office today, and they had no issues with me video recording them at all. They were, oh, we'll take care of you right away, and knew me by my first and last name, so that was great. So I just wanted to tell you all, please remember, we the people are the ones that are in charge. You're the government employees, we are the government, and please make sure you pay attention to detail for all these folks that are here. I would love to stay for the rest of this meeting, but I just wanted to put that comment out there. I've got to do some grocery shopping and some few other personal errands that I have to do, because the wife is like, you're not spending all night at the meeting tonight. I need my groceries to make dinner. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jerry Parker.
Good evening, Commission. Jerry Parker, Rep Place. I want to discuss one thing in particular. I was going to go into detail with this, but I'm not. I'm going to sort of shorten it. When I watched Nelson's resignation speech, what I saw is how he named Bernie Thompson, myself, Jody Moore, Zach Detweiler, and even Ryan Scray. I was shocked. But what I saw was lies, innuendo, and false information. And I'm going to sort of leave it at that. The other thing that I want to discuss also is the Charter Committee. In the Charter Committee, I don't think that the city manager needs to be sitting at the Charter Committee table. He can sit in the audience, but the lawyer really is the one that gives the information to the Charter Committee. The other thing that I'm wanting to discuss is the appointment of Dr. Dave Lowry. I am in favor of him becoming mayor of the city of Lynn Haven. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have William Platt.
My name is William Platt, and I'm a Lynn Haven resident. I want to thank the commissioners for having done a difficult job over the last year. I know that personally and professionally, y'all have suffered, and we do appreciate the work and the time and effort you have put into maintaining order in this city. 11 months ago, I came to the commission meeting for the first time to ask the former city manager and mayor be disciplined for violating Lynn Haven city directives prohibiting racial discrimination in city events. Since that time, both former mayor and manager have been removed from office. Before they left, they further divided Lynn Haven on racial issues. Instead of asking for them to be disciplined, I should have demanded their resignations and asked the commissioners to do their duty to enforce this demand. I failed there. The former city manager and mayor spent my tax dollars to promote Black History Month, which is racial discrimination in favor of blacks. The manager and mayor also put up posters exclusively of black people, including arrogantly pictures of themselves with my tax dollars. This attempt to elevate themselves only resulted in diminishing the importance of their black role models, I believe. However, they wanted to see themselves on a poster besides Martin Luther King, though I wonder if they understand the implications of such a display. David Garrow won the Pulitzer Prize for his work on the biography of Martin Luther King. The Pulitzer Prize is fairly important. He spent years researching King's life. Garrow states, "A profound and painful historical reckoning and reconsideration inescapably awaits King." What Garrow meant is, I can no longer support the lie. King cheated on his wife with dozens of women. He cheated his way through college. He was no Christian as he did not believe in the basic tenets of Christianity. He was an ardent socialist, if not a communist. This is the man black leaders want their children to emulate. They can worship whoever they desire. My tax dollars should not be taken from me to promote racial division or to support celebrations of a man who cheated his way through life. Research all of this. The monopoly on the narrative no longer exists. I'm calling on the commissioners to quit taking my money to honor the dishonorable and to promote racial division in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Johnny Bashirs.
Johnny Bashirs. I'm going to read a letter I sent to the commissioners this morning. Greetings, commissioners. This correspondence is regarding the selection and appointment of a person to complete the vacancy left by Mayor Nelson's resignation. This is obviously an important decision and one that deserves extended discussions. My thoughts are that one of the sitting commissioners should be appointed to the mayor position as they've already been duly elected by the voters of Lynn Haven. Following that, someone can be appointed to fill the vacant commission seat to complete that commissioner's term. The most logical choice to fill the mayor's seat until it comes up for election would be to appoint the current mayor pro tem, Sam Peoples, to the mayor's position. Commissioner Peoples' term is up for election at the next city election, as is the mayor's seat. Should you decide to appoint someone that is not currently on the commission, then I feel you should open the opportunity for others to come forward and apply for the position. Set a special meeting to appoint a mayor, possibly the 20th of January. This would allow you to interview any prospective applicants, including myself. The recall petition was signed by a small fraction of the voters and does not necessarily represent the electorate at large. 85% of the voters of Lynn Haven did not participate in the recall process. Of the signatures collected and turned in for review, only a bit more than 1,000 of those that signed the petition voted in the previous municipal election. I'm submitting myself for consideration for appointment to the mayor's seat or any commission seat that may be vacated in this process. I have a long history with Lynn Haven. I'm well known to each of you. I will be fair, honest, and an open official that will represent the entirety, all the citizens of Lynn Haven. Should you opt to delay appointment until the 20th or later, I would appreciate the opportunity to meet with each of you and discuss my qualifications and thoughts at length. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Alvin Peters.
Good evening, Alvin Peters, 25 East 8th Street, Panama City, Florida. You'll recall I promised I'd come from time to time to update you, and I'm here again. As perhaps you realize, you were served today, and so the lawsuit that we filed on behalf of Vicki Gaynor has been served upon you, and we'll look forward to your response. The lawsuit is an invitation to court. And in courtrooms, we use the adversary process to assess the truth. And we have rules of evidence that we follow. And we have outlined in this 8-count lawsuit the grounds for which we claim that you broke the law and you discriminated against Ms. Gaynor. Count 1 is the Equal Pay Act. You'll recall we talked about how you consistently underpaid her to comparable males. Count 2 is the hostile work environment on the basis of gender by the city of Lynn Haven. Count 3 is the hostile work environment on the basis of race by the city of Lynn Haven. Count 4 is directed at you, Commissioner Tinder, and it concerns hostile work environment related to race, so that you are individually sued for racial discrimination. Hostile work environment on the basis of gender is count 5, Mr. Warwick, and that's where you are particularly sued. Count 6 is hostile work environment and adverse actions due to party affiliation by you, Mr. Warwick, and that includes our investigation to show that when you were running for office, you pledged to the Republican Party of Bay County that you would dismiss Ms. Gaynor because of her registration as a Democrat.
which we maintain is a violation of the city charter and a violation of your oath. Count 7 is adverse actions due to gender by the city of Lynn Haven, and count 8 is adverse actions taken by the city against Ms. Gaynor on the basis of race. So that's the lawsuit. You know, it's a new year. Wish you a happy new year. But here we are addressing the problems and the discrimination that occurred last year with regard to Ms. Gaynor. And I guess it's appropriate to wish you a happy Martin Luther King Day. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have James Finch.
James Finch, 410 East 2nd Street. I've been here 75 years. My family's been here over 100 years. Lynn Haven's not racist and never has been racist. But this last week, last Friday, I watched as Mayor Nelson resigned from here. And when I took over the recall committee, I said I would chair the recall committee, but I don't want only do it with truth. I felt like maybe Mayor Nelson would do the same thing, but evidently he didn't. He called out Commissioner Warwick, Commissioner Tender, you know, recalled bad actors and all that. But I want to tell you something. Mr. Warwick or Ms. Tender has not ever been in the recall deal with us or whatever. You know, they didn't participate in it. They wasn't part of it. They did sign the petitions because they didn't want to sit there with the mayor that we had. But they never pushed anything on anybody. And Mayor Nelson resigned, and he said in his resignation that, you know, he had won a victory. They was going to continue the recall to next Wednesday, which they did. They had a meeting just for a case management meeting. It lasted 15 minutes. It was a Zoom call. And the rest of the story is what happened to Mr. Nelson was he didn't pay his lawyer. So they called me and wanted to drop the case if I wouldn't go after the attorney fees against him. And I said, well, if you want to, and with prejudice. And I said, well, how about resigning, you know, and all. He said, well, I don't want to resign. Said, I want the vote to go on. I said, okay. My lawyer said, James, what do you want to do? I said, well, he wants to drop everything. And I said, I don't want to sue him and hurt him for his money or whatever. I said, let the vote go on. Within 3 or 4 hours, he decided to resign himself. And then he said all these bad actors. I didn't know him. I never talked to him unless it was right here at this in the deal. Nobody threatened him or, you know, whatever that worked with me, anything. I appreciate him resigning. He did the city, the best thing he ever done was to resign. There was about 5,000 people signed that petition to get him gone. And he had his deal on there, don't sign this, I've not done anything wrong. It was on every petition, but they signed every one of them. This is not a racist town. Vicki Gaynor quadrupled her salary in 3 years. She's got a suit now with the city. I'm suing her and the city. Y'all paying Vicki's lawyers. Hey.
Thank you. Next, we have Jody Moore.
Good evening. You know, I wasn't going to say this, but I will say this since Mr. Peters came up here and said what he said. I'm looking forward to following that lawsuit, but it's just lies. Mr. Peters hasn't been here for the past 4.5 years like I've been. He doesn't really know what's happened. If anybody created a hostile work environment, it was Vicki. She was not a victim of the hostile work environment. She was the perpetrator. But anyway, that'll be found out. I also want to just say, you know, I've been giving a lot of thought since Nelson's resignation. I know people are tired. They're tired of the controversy. I'm tired too, but there's still work to be done. Jesse Nelson resigned and he's gone. Vicki Gaynor and Ricky Ramey are no longer employed by Lynn Haven. And I personally think the city is heading in the right direction. But policy needs to be looked at to ensure the mistakes of the past are not repeated. There need to be good personnel decisions. There's still work to be done. There are multiple lawsuits still pending against the city that will need to be resolved. And Mr. Peters just talked about one of them. I do want to right now address a comment that was made at the last meeting. Someone asked Judy, where's the proof of corruption? And I'd say you need to read Margot Anderson's book, Storm of Corruption. Maybe it was missed that $5 million was stolen. I mean, that's an established fact. I'd also say that it's corrupt when thousands of dollars of IT equipment gets taken to the director's house and kept there. And then some of it was returned, hopefully most of it or all of it was returned. I'd say it's corrupt when evidence is kept unsecured in a foreclosed home and anybody could look at it if they walked in there, and it was sensitive information. And let's not forget there was $30,000 in a backpack. Where did that go? Ricky Ramey gave it to Sheriff Ford, and nobody's ever seen it since then. So don't ask me where evidence of corruption is or where the corruption is. I think if you look for it, I think you'll find it. Don't ignore real corruption and incompetence. And I want good things to happen in Lynn Haven. I truly do. But they won't happen if you don't look to the past and fix what was broken. So that's why you need to examine these things, not to sit here and keep stirring up the controversy. But you got to fix what was broken, and things have been broken. I think you can keep on going in the right direction tonight by putting the right person in the mayor's seat. There is one man who put his name in to run for mayor and who qualified in the recall election, and that was Dr. Dave Lowry. So those are my thoughts on that situation tonight. But if you want to consider other people, I think that would be entirely fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Sarah Marlar.
Hey, Commission. Sarah Marlar, New York Avenue, live in Lynn Haven. I've lived in Lynn Haven for 36, almost 37 years. And I will say I have never been so disappointed in the city of Lynn Haven as I am right now. I've gotten up and spoken before. My husband has run for city commission before. He was defeated by Commissioner Tender, which was a complete disgrace, but it is what it is. The people voted. Here we are. Tonight should never be happening. If y'all want to vote in Dr. Dave Lowry, fine. Sam Peebles isn't here. That's not a fair vote. Also, if he's the only one that qualified as a candidate, let me tell you something. He's the only one that qualified in a recall race. Nobody that loved Jesse Nelson was going to go up against Jesse Nelson. And I personally love Jesse Nelson. And I also love and adore Vicki Gaynor to the hilt. Her attorney got up here and spoke nothing but the truth. And right now, the mayor that is set to be before us tonight is sitting behind me laughing, making everything possible he can, a mockery of things. That's not what a mayor does. He's also gotten on social media and making mockery of people in the community. It's not what a mayor in position does. Nobody's perfect. I'm not claiming that Jesse was perfect, and I'm not claiming that Vicki was perfect by any means. But you, Ms. Tender, when you vacated your seat to run...
Can you please address the comments to the chair, please? Thank you.
When Ms. Tender resigned to run for mayor, guess what? Y'all gave the opportunity for the commission to take interviews, to take resumes, and y'all did due process and voted on them. Why aren't you doing the same thing for the mayor? Why is it such a rush? Honestly, I'm at the point now, does the governor need to step in on our little city? Because there is the definition of corruption happening in our city to the nth degree. And it's hard for me to, that's a very hard pill for me to swallow because I have lived here for so long. I was born and raised here. I went to Lynn Haven, Mowat, Mosley. I went to college, came right back, and I still live in Lynn Haven. And what is happening in our city is disgraceful. What y'all did to Mayor Nelson and Miss Vicky was horrific. Do the right thing tonight by the citizens of Lynn Haven. Don't rush into a mayor position. Listen to the people before you make a terrible mistake.
Thank you. Next, we have David Switzer.
David Switzer, 323 Alexander Drive. I've been accused of being too scripted, so I'm speaking from the heart tonight. I wanted to talk about a couple of dates, October 14th and December 9th. And those are both city commission meetings. October 14th was when we realized, when it was brought to everybody, that this contract came through with the Bay County Sheriff's Office that should not have been entered into. That meeting brought this forward as just a humdrum, another check mark on the box, without any research that I'm aware of, other than having the acting chief come up here and explain what that software program is, that IT software. If you remember, and I'm going to dumb this way down, he basically said that this is my secretary brings me forms, and I get my quill pen out and I dip it in iron gall ink and I handwrite all these forms, and man, that hurts my hands when that happens. So we need something efficient. And this is very efficient. And I'm not saying that he didn't tell the truth, but I'm telling you that the real truth is interconnection. What that contract does is links Lynn Haven with every other police department at the sheriff's station through Fusus. Now, Bayrock is a whole different thing, and I don't have a lot of time to get into that. But just know that that's what that is. That is what the software program is. It is for efficiency, but it also links every camera, 160 cameras that are government controlled, to Bayrock. Next, December 9th. I have a big problem with December 9th. December 9th is when it was passed that 4-1, thank you, Mrs. Tinder. Thank you for voting no, that we're going to continue this contract. I have a feeling that none of the commissioners knew anything about Flock. Zero. The questions that were asked on December 9th by the commissioners, one commissioner thought the Supreme Court had already ruled on this, which is not true. Our acting chief said, oh, it's like settled law, which it is not. This is going through the courts. This is something right now that's happening that everybody needs to study up on and understand what it is. I need you guys to crack the books. Don't vote on something that you have no idea what it is and then retroactively ask a Flock guy to come here and sell the product. Do it yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. We have any other public commentary? Heinz Gray.
Good evening. A while back in July, I requested 14 procurement records from the city on 13 records that were over $35,000, which was the city manager's procurement threshold. One record was below. I included that for full transparency to see what the difference in the records were. Of those 13 records over the procurement threshold that did not require the commission authority, I received back records for all 13 plus the one below. And of those 13 records that were above, I found zero evidence of commission approval. That's 13 records over threshold that did not get city commission approval. One might ask why. Well, there was a thing called owner direct purchases that were happening. In order to offset construction costs, the construction firm in this place, I think it was it Culpepper and Culpepper who did the city hall, would ask Lynn Haven to purchase goods for them, tax-free, great, we save on sales tax, in order so that way they didn't have to pay sales tax, which is fine. I'm all for that if it's in the policy. It's not in the procurement policy, and Chris can confirm for you today, it is still not in the procurement policy. It is something that he's working on. We've talked about this. The reason I bring this up is because there's numerous people tonight spoke about the former city manager not doing anything wrong. There's 13 examples that you can all freely look into, determine if the former city manager broke city policy at all. I believe that the former city manager did 13 times just on the city hall. Was that intentional? Maybe, maybe not. The facts are the facts, and when it comes to procurement, what is written and what is documented is fact. And then beyond that, I also want to add in that I want to ask if any of you received any names prior to this meeting of anybody other than Mr. Lowry, who's interested in becoming the next mayor of our city. And if you, whether you did or did not, I would also encourage any member of the public to get up right after me and make it be known that you'd like to be considered. Because the apathy in this community is at an all-time high, and I haven't lived here for the 35 years that I've been alive. I've lived here for 5.5. It's a choice to live here for me. It wasn't a birthright. I chose to live in Lynn Haven. I've chosen to be involved in Lynn Haven. I've been accused of things that have been mentioned tonight. I've continually shared my opinion on the professional duties that my elected, this legislative body, what they do. If I'm saying that you're doing something wrong, that is my opinion, and it has no reflection on you as a person.
Thank you. Mr. Zach Detweiler?
Good evening, Commission. Zach Detweiler. Well, I originally came here today to speak about the email that I sent you all, and we've been going back and forth about the Grease Pro that's being built at the corner of 390 and Harvard. We don't need to get into details tonight. Certainly, we can work that out as adults behind the scenes. But one thing that I do want to get into is the fact that as we're going forward as a city, we've talked a lot about what it's going to take to recover. And one of those things is structure. I listened to a couple of interviews from a couple different people. One of them was Dr. Lowry that he did on Monday. And he talked about in the military how structure saves you from chaos. There's policy, there's procedure. As an NCO, as another NCO, you guys know that in order to function, you have to have laws and ordinances and codes in which you abide by. The DO for Grease Pro came forward, I believe it was November or early December of 2023. The plans were voted on with changes by the commission. New plans were created. They were submitted to the state, DOT. They were submitted to the county. They were never resubmitted to the city until I called the planning manager, Amanda Richards at the time, and said, hey, there's about to be work going on and the city doesn't have updated plans. What's going on? All of a sudden, there was a rush to get those plans in front of the commission. Vicki Gaynor herself said, don't you worry. She was asked by Commissioner Peoples specifically, don't you worry. There is going to be a vote on this. It is coming back in front of you. Don't you worry. Amanda Richards said the same thing. Don't you worry. Then at a pre-commission meeting, not even the commission meeting, but a pre-commission meeting, all of a sudden it was, well, the mayor asked, well, the mayor at the time said, what's the problem with them? Oh, well, they're just never going to be happy. Well, I don't think we need to take this in front of the commission. It's already a done deal. They put the changes in it. Well, no, they didn't, because the building moved, the stormwater pond moved, the entire engineering of the project moved. But it was never brought back in front of the commission. Now, that's substantive change, and the lawyer can tell you about substantive change, because that is a legal term that states when there is something so significant that changes, it needs re-review. There is nothing in the ordinances that would allow for a city manager to supersede the authority of this commission. And that is going to be a theme that is going to come up a lot here in the future. There's going to be a lot looked into, and we are looking, but But I'm going to say this, follow your ordinances. That is all I can say.
Thank you. Mr. Hines?
Georgetown, 6003 Rhode Island Avenue. I didn't intend to speak, but I'd have to because certain people said certain things that are just not true as far as I'm concerned. Someone said that the city of Lynn Haven is not racist. That may be true, but there are some racist people in the city of Lynn Haven. I was told by an elderly Caucasian guy to stop using the word racist and she use the word white supremacist. And we have those in this building right now. Now, I did 21 and a half years in the military. I'm a senior non-commissioned officer. And I went in 71, got out in 93. 32 years ago, I retired. And I came back to Bay County. I've been in the meetings since that time. I didn't come in until I wanted to get elected. I've been here for 30-something years coming to these meetings. There is a problem in this city. It may not be racial, but it's not equality. Because everyone is scared of a word of diversity. I don't know why. You use it in your house every day. You don't use the same equipment every day the same way. You diversify the way you use stuff, including your car or your bicycle. You don't ride the same way every day. So that's the problem I have with the meeting right now. It's your job. I told you many times before, you elected officials, it's your job to make a decision what you want to do. You can listen to everybody in here, you can listen to everybody at your church, but it's your job to make the decision. Don't be afraid to make a decision. Make one and live with it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sir, in the brown shirt.
Oakley, 1208 Massachusetts Avenue. A couple of small things. As an academy graduate, a ship's captain, a military officer, it is indeed important to have rules, guidelines, procedures. I would encourage you guys to set up what's known as an error trap to try not to repeat some of the things we did. We had Trojan horses brought here in the form of a Mr. White early on. That was the start of the downward slide. So whatever procedure was put in place that received him in your midst, I would look at that procedure. Make sure we're not duplicating that. Make sure if they knock on the door, oh, have I got somebody for you? Probably want to look real hard at that. See if it serves us well. Number two, I had a question about stormwater fees, and I asked a question of the council. I got an answer. I said, how much comes in every time the letter comes to my desk that we want $254 more for stormwater rate? I was told $1.8 million. That's right or not, but I was told I guessed 1.4, I guessed a little low. Are we keeping track of that money? Does it indeed go to stormwater? That's a bunch of money. Bunch of money. Are we earmarking it? Now I want to say something positive. Never seen such a group of dedicated city employees as we have. There's a young lady that drives one of the refuse trucks. She needs a gold star. Not only does she do her job, she gets out and she cleans up after she gets out of the truck. Imagine that. And cleans up. You don't mind going out and offering them a cold Coke or a cup of coffee or a Christmas card at Christmas. That's what I want to get back to, that kind of Lynn Haven. Set your error traps up. Don't repeat your mistakes. The only way you can chart a course forward is erase the chart from yesterday and move forward. Lawsuits, every business that I've been in that got beat up, that's where attorneys feed. Anytime there's consternation, attorneys begin to feed. So you'll have to wade through that, but I have every confidence you can get through that. Good luck in 26. I hope we have a lot less tension for you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sir?
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Robert Moore, 2403 Country Club Drive. I did not come here planning to speak. In fact, I didn't plan to come to the meeting until I saw in the 5 o'clock news that there was a possibility that you would appoint a mayor tonight. I'd like to remind you that in a democracy, we select our representatives. You don't select each other. We had a mayor, like him or not, who was elected twice. In 21, I believe in a special election, and then 23. I would like the chance to vote for my next mayor. I think we've been given a very reasonable proposal tonight is one of you serve out the term and then appoint a city commissioner, and then let's proceed from that point. But just want to leave you with the fact that in a democracy, we select our representatives. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, the one in the back. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Susan Anderson. We're talking about democracy. We're talking about potential mayor. We're talking about a man that stood up when he qualified to be mayor. Nobody's surprised that we're in this situation. Where were the people that wanted to be mayor when they had an opportunity to stand up and qualify? We're not surprised about being in this situation. If you wanted to be mayor, where were you? Why didn't you stand up and qualify? It's not a surprise. Where were you? Were you apathetic at the time? Did you not know that we were possibly needing a mayor? I'm not surprised. I didn't stand up and say I wanted to be mayor. I'm not going to stand up now and say, please, please vote me mayor. Dr. Lowry stood up during an unpopular time and said, I'm willing, I'm able. I don't know him other than what I've read. He seems very well qualified. He's able to lead. He wanted to. There's nobody running against him. If we went to the polls, it was either recall and Dr. Lowry became our mayor, we would have had a vote. We would have had him as our leader. He stands very well qualified to be a leader. I don't understand why all of a sudden we feel like we need a whole bunch of people to have an opportunity to say, hey, I want to run now. Where were you when you had an opportunity to stand up and say, I'll be a leader. I'm ready. Lynn Haven, I want to. When we had the mess that we had, you wanted to blindly follow Mayor Nelson. I'm sorry that we got into that mess. But you don't get another opportunity now to say, okay, well, maybe now that Mayor Nelson resigned, give me a chance. Well, I don't necessarily want to stand up behind you when you weren't ready to stand up when you had an opportunity to qualify and say, I want this job in this mess that we're in. Dr. Lowry stood up and said, okay, I'm ready to lead. Perhaps we ought to give him his chance. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Garman?
Andy Garman. I also didn't think about speaking tonight when I came here, but when the lady said it was a disgrace that Judy was voted in, that burned me a new one. I'm telling you. Why? Why is it a disgrace when somebody's voted in by the people in this community that they want to be represented so much that those residents, those community members voted Judy in? So that's not a disgrace. The disgrace is what's happened here for the past 8 years. That's the disgrace. On the recall of Mayor Nelson, the reason he was recalled is because the residents voted to recall him. There was 2,500 votes to recall him. In the original, the previous election, there was only 1,700 votes. So, 2,500 votes, that means we want him out. Another thing is, I had a big poster made to bring here, but since he resigned, I decided not to. It was a poster I had made of his paperwork that he sent in to the tax office, where he had given $3,000 to his church, that he stood up here to my face and said, no, I didn't do that. It's on the tax laws, the tax logs. So, I've always heard if somebody will lie, they'll steal. If they'll steal, they'll kill you. So I don't trust somebody that lies to me. The last thing that I was going to say is I've always heard that a person that yells racist the loudest is usually the racist. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, that's it for public commentary. We'll go to item 4. Are there any additions, deletions, modifications to the agenda?
Sir, I have a request to add to the agenda our possible appointment of the vacated mayor's position.
It's already on there, an item.
Then I have another request to have discussion about our the city manager's position.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll put that as item 24. Just discussion, city manager.
I think we should have a discussion because the deadline passed, and I think we need to hopefully get our feelings out and maybe set something for the next agenda. But
okay. So we need a vote. Is that your motion?
That would be my motion. Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any discussion from the public? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Sam?
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. That'll be item number 24. Any other addition, deletions, or modifications? Is that it? All right. Next, we'll have the report. Do I start with Peebles or myself?
Your call, sir.
All right. We'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Peebles.
All right, thank you. All right, sorry to everyone that I couldn't be there this week. I'm on a work trip. It's not by choice. Wish I could be there with you all, but I appreciate everyone that came tonight and made their voice heard about what they wanted to happen. Thank you to the staff for holding things down, and thank you to the police and fire and everybody else that keeps the city running. Not much of a report, so I'll pass it on. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Perno?
Thank you, sir. I don't have much to report either. I do know that Mr. Oakley spoke about a lady who does a great job picking up debris and whatnot. I've been complimented about her by citizens as well. I know that she worked actually over near where you live, Sarah, because my buddy Gus told me that, and his wife Ann told me how great she was.
She's only been with us about 60 days, I believe.
Is that the
We've had
one?
Numerous compliments on her. So we
Well,
will
yeah,
pass
there's, and she seems to be, she's a very caring person that gets
Yes, sir.
out and does stuff. So I definitely want to pass along kudos there. And I saw today, I have the privilege of having one of our lift stations right outside my kitchen door at Beef O'Brady's. And there was 2 guys working really hard on installing the SCADA, I believe, or I think that's what they were doing. So SCADA. Well, I walked up to them. I said, "What are y'all doing? You putting up that SCADA stuff?" And they said, "Yep." And they were going at it pretty hard. So also, if you were around town yesterday over by Circle K, and I believe it was 12th Street and 10th Street, y'all had a very organized, coned off situation, and y'all were going to town on a project over there. So whatever that was timed out really well and orchestrated, and I don't think there was any idle hands at all. I mean, I was watching several different times throughout the day, and they were hitting it pretty good. So yeah, it was almost like you had a crane on the job or something. You had people working hard. And a lot of times that's not seen in everyday progress. So I really got to give it to our people, or the people we contract, and what's been going on. So with that, I'll just say thank you to all our employees and all our first responders, and that's my report.
All right. Commissioner Tender?
Well, I think 2026 is going to be our best year yet.
and I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to, and it's probably the most asked question of me, is when does the new police chief start? And am I correct? February 9th?
Yes, ma'am.
Certificate, and he'll be ready to go to work on the 12th?
No, the week of February 9th, that's when he starts his training for the Florida crossover.
Okay. And how long does that take?
It's a 4-day course, and then he'll have to take the test for the certification.
Oh, he won't have a problem getting that. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that, and I think that's going to set us off in a new direction. And I really don't have a report. We've got great employees here. Everybody does their job, and they do it well. And I just think all the new additions that are going to happen this year are going to make a huge difference. Thank you.
All right. I don't have a whole lot either. The one thing I have is I sat down with our grants writer, and she was able to give me an update of all the grants that we're working on, grants that they plan on coming in, as far as the process and how to do those. Of course, if anybody's done grants, you probably know it's a very simple, easy process, right? Now, you got to deal with multiple different agencies, and everyone's got a different process. You got to know what right words to say, and our grant writer does an excellent job. So I would, and she enlightened me on a lot of different things, and I learned quite a bit. So I would encourage the rest of the commission to please sit down and talk with her. It'll be worth your while. So I would encourage everyone to do that. I know there was a couple things that came up there in public commentary. I'm not going to answer them right now. I'll answer them when it gets to item 11 for discussion and possible approval appointing the mayor, as far as what names have we heard. And someone mentioned about, electing the mayor and that, and I'll explain how that's supposed to work according to city attorney or whoever will explain how that process works per our charter. And that's all. I got a couple proclamations here to read. First one's for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The proclamation reads, whereas the civil rights movement of the 1960s has profoundly impacted the course of American history and continues to shape the direction and debate of our society. And whereas one of the great leaders of the 20th century movement is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose dream is no less inspirational and important today than when he first expressed, "I have a dream," more than 50 years ago. And whereas with the gains of the civil rights movement over the years, there are many goals achieved that are to be celebrated as we continue our commitment to uphold those righteous ideals. And whereas, as we look forward to the future with optimism, inspired by Dr. King's legacy and informed by his wisdom and vision, let us rededicate ourselves to keeping his dream alive and be reminded that we are united as one community where all men are created equal. And whereas in the land of the free, we can join hands and sing, free at last, great God Almighty, we are free at last. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Commission and the people of the City of Lynn Haven, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby officially proclaim and recognize January 19, 2026, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Second proclamation is for Black History Month. And it states, whereas since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as National Black History Month to honor and affirm the importance of Black history throughout our American experience. And whereas the United States joins other countries around the world in devoting a month to recognize Black history, including Canada and the United Kingdom. And whereas the observance of Black History Month began in 1926, when Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson and Minister Jesse Moreland sponsored the first National Negro History Week, which was celebrated the second week in February, and later in the 1960s as part of the Civil Rights Movement, the observance evolved into Black History Month. And whereas much of the city of Lynn Haven's honor, strength, and success can be attributed to the diversity of cultures and traditions that are celebrated by the residents of this great city. And whereas African Americans have played significant roles and made lasting contributions to our city's history and the history of Florida's economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development, while working tirelessly to contribute to every aspect of American society, including business, education, politics, science, and the arts. And whereas Black History Month is a time for all Americans to remember the contributions and legacy of those who helped build our nation, fought against prejudice to secure lives of dignity and opportunity for all of our citizens, advance the cause of civil rights for all Americans, and strengthen our families and communities. Now, therefore, as a city commission, do hereby encourage all residents in the city of Lynn Haven, Florida, to join me in honoring the many contributions made by African Americans to our city, state, and nation, and to participate in the many educational and inspirational events as we celebrate and proclaim the month of February as Black History Month. All right. So next up, we have the interim city manager's report.
Yes, sir. The gym will be closed January 17th for the volleyball jamboree. Currently, our adult volleyball and basketball registration is open. The demo of the Kane Griffin Playground, which I brought up last commission meeting, is complete. The new playground installation is expected within the next 2 to 3 weeks. The Finance Review Committee will be meeting January 20th at 8 a.m. here in the chambers. And then thank you for bringing up grant writer River Jordan. She's been doing a great job. Commissioner Perno, she's actually working with Dr. Graham on a new estuary program grant. So she has a lot of grants that she's working on. We have some that are pending. They were delayed from the government shutdown, and hopefully we will hear back from them soon to bring back to you all. And then any questions on the checklist from Ms. Roman?
There were a couple of questions during public commentary. I want to assure you that all of the stormwater funds are accounted for in a separate accounting system based just on stormwater. In fiscal 26, I'm projecting that we will bring in $2.6 million from the non-ad valorem assessment that will be used towards the storm. Every nickel of it goes towards stormwater. The stormwater expense budget is over $8 million. So all of that money is dedicated to stormwater projects. The other question was regarding MLK Day. There's about $6,800 in the budget for that event. Are there any other questions that I can answer?
No? All right, thank you. City Attorney?
Pat stole my thunder. I was going to request direction on the city manager search at your next meeting to report that the applications have been received. You'll be getting them next week, and staff could use some direction, but you'll discuss that. I have no other report.
Okay, thank you. Next item, number 9, is our consent agenda, and the only thing on there is approval of minutes dated 12/30/25, special meeting minutes. Do we have a motion for that?
Motion to approve. Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any public commentary? All right, if you could call the roll, please.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes.
All right, for old business, number 10, discussion, possible approval of resolution 2026-01-504, ratifying the proposed time, date change to the CRA's findings of necessity document.
So, you read.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving the extension of the Community Redevelopment Agency in accordance with Section 163.3755, subsection 1, Florida statutes from September 30th, 2039 to November 30th, 2043, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So at your December 9th meeting, you approved a resolution extending your CRA plan. There is another statute that provides specifically for a finding of continued existence of an agency, of the Community Redevelopment Agency, beyond September 30th, 2039. So this is the follow-up to your last resolution. The last one extended the plan. This finds for continued existence of the agency until November 30th, 2043, which will sync with the termination of your plan.
Any questions? All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and second. Any public commentary? None? All right, if you could call the roll, please.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes.
All right, number 11 is discussion and possible approval of appointing someone to fill the recently vacant mayoral seat, interim city manager.
Yes, sir. As you all know, Mayor Nelson resigned Friday, effective 7 p.m. Per our charter, the commission has now 30 days to fill that seat. If they do not, the governor can step in and fill that seat. Whoever is appointed to fill it will be in office until April of 2027 at the next regularly scheduled election.
Okay. So I just want to say something real quick. Someone had brought up, I think they were like, hey, we should elect a next mayor, but we can't according to our charter. Our charter specifically states, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the commission will appoint a mayor.
I have it right here, sir, if you'd like me to read it.
So
Yeah, if you don't
the recall statute provides that if the recalled person resigns prior to the election, the remaining members of that governing body shall fill the seat. Your charter syncs with that and also provides for when there is a vacancy on the commission, the remaining commissioners fill the seat. So you've got two sources of law that all say the same thing.
Okay. Any questions on that? The other thing that came up was names for mayor. I think we probably all got the same email, but I received the one email from Mr. Johnny Bashir's, and then I received an email from a resident encouraging appointing George Hines, and that was the only things that I received. So to answer that question that came up there in public commentary. So now it's up for discussion.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So, I've put a lot of thought into this, and it's a very unique situation because my first thought was, hey, we need to give this some time because, like last time we appointed someone, I don't know, I was not on the commission, I was in the audience, and there appeared to be a lot of confusion among people in the audience of what happened and how it happened. And so my initial thought was, maybe we should give this a little more time to talk about it, to educate the public, to let people put their names in. This isn't anti-Dave Lowry or anti-anybody. It was just, let's give it some time to educate the public. But there's also the argument to be made that, there was a recall election going on, so there was quite a bit of public interest in this situation. So people knew what was going on. So I see both sides of the argument. And so I really just want to have a healthy discussion tonight to kind of figure out what we want to do as a commission tonight. I'm thankful for the people that came out and spoke. I'm thankful for the emails. I can confirm with what Commissioner Ward said. That's the exact same amount of interest or names that came to me. I've not had any more. I see the argument on both sides of waiting, of going ahead and getting it done, whatever. I just want to have a healthy discussion and just want to put my thoughts out there that it is important that, we don't want to rush anything, but at the same time, there's an argument to be made that it's not being rushed. So I just want to hear what everyone has to say.
Well, I think the first question we need to answer is there anybody on the commission that wants to be mayor? That's a no for Commissioner Tinder.
Ooh, no, thank you.
Commissioner Perno's a no. Commissioner Peebles? Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Can you ask the question one more time?
I was just saying that I think the first question we need to answer is, does anybody on the commission want to be mayor?
Oh, no, I'm not interested.
I'm not interested either, so that answers the first question. So go ahead.
If we're going to start, I just want to start by saying, Mayor Nelson, where we are, thank you for what you've done to serve. I mean, we all took the step to put ourselves out there to run for the office that we hold. He did that. He did that not only once but twice. And and for anybody to serve in the capacity of what we're doing, I take my hat off to him. So I wanted to thank him for his service. Now we in the recall process with the I think the lady in the back who spoke was very, very eloquent and probably could recap it better than me, but I believe that there was the mayor in the recall process, and there was a question about the mayor as the ballot would read, and then there was only one qualified candidate, and this man puts himself out there to want to be our mayor. He's put out his resume, his personal resume, his military resume, his he's documented his life, and he's been an open book for anybody to talk to him. I know I've had people ask me about him, and I said, hey, do you want to meet him? Because I would have arranged for him to meet somebody, and I don't even know the man that well, but I know just from the short conversations I had, he would get out and meet anybody and talk to them. Now, I just wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and play my card and say, we have a candidate, and our job is to. Do we want to limp along and only have 4 seats for the next year and two months, or do we want to fill the seat and have a full commission, 5 votes at every meeting? And in order to do that, I think we need to take the person who wanted to serve and be our mayor and make him the mayor, and then arrange a time, hopefully, for an induction, possibly a special meeting before the next meeting, so then he could be approved and put in and sworn in. And then he could hit the ground as the mayor and have a little bit of time before the next agenda. So he can,
Hold on.
that's okay,
ma'am.
We're still talking. You'll get your chance when we make a motion. But anyway, that's my feelings. And I feel like, given the chance, if each one of us were put to the task, I mean, we all have different opinions, but I feel like each one of you, Sam, you included, no, you're on the phone, but any one of us would step up and do what we had to do. So I admire all of you for that and what we're about to decide. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, I know that Dr. Lowry will meet anybody, and he'll tell you anything you want to know about him. I find him to be a very honest individual, very open, and he's full of integrity. There just isn't anything I can't say that's not positive about him. And I think he could take Lynn Haven long ways. And if he should choose to run again in 13 months, when that seat will be up, then so be it. We'd probably be very lucky. That's all I have to say.
So you want to hear what I have to say, huh?
Well, I guess, yeah.
You're on, Bubba.
So this is the way I'm looking at it is, the only names that I've heard is Mr. Bashir's and Mr. Hines, who I both respect, who've been actively involved in the community. I appreciate their civic engagement and respect their willingness to serve. And I know one of the things that Mr. Bashir brought up is he wanted to sit down and talk with us about his qualifications and that. But I know, both of those individuals, ironically, have ran in past elections. I know Mr. Hines ran in 2021 when we were both running. And then when we both ran in 2025 when Mr. Bashir was running. And so we participated in multiple public forums and discussions, and I think we got to know each other pretty well through that. So I'm pretty familiar with the experience and qualifications and the standing on the issues and that. So that's the way I feel about it, and I can make my determination based on what I've heard through those.
And the biggest thing I feel right now that our city needs is transparency. We have to have it. We have to have it. We need our employees, we need our residents to trust what we say is what we mean, and we're not just flapping our jaws. And I believe David Lowry will do that, because if he says it, he means it. And if I could make a motion right now, I'd make a motion. Well, I'm making a motion. We appoint David Lowry as our next mayor.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that motion.
And a second to appoint Dr. Dave Lowry as our next mayor. Is there any more further discussion?
Sure, I got something. Just wanted to say that, thank you to all three names that put their name in the hat or was mentioned. It's an incredibly terrible or tough position to have to, make, because the mayoral position is such an important position. And like I said earlier, I truly respect anyone that puts their name in the hat. I mean, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of guts to do it. And I appreciate every single one of you. And I will say that I think that all three of them display traits of transparency and great things that they could bring to the city. That's all I just wanted to add, because, I spoke first, so I didn't really get to, or I just asked what you guys had in mind, so I just wanted to add what was on my mind as well.
Okay, thank you. The only thing I wanted to add was no matter who gets appointed, something I've been thinking about since this has come up is when we install officers in Lynn Haven, I'd like to change the way we do that. And I don't know if you've ever seen how Panama City does it, but Panama City has what they call an inauguration day. So our next election will be 2027, and you'll have at least 3 seats up for election. And instead of installing the officers at a commission meeting, have a separate day where we just install those officers and make it a big event, because it is a big deal no matter who gets in there. And that way all their supporters, friends, and family can come in and support them. And, when they get done installing, it's a good networking opportunity to socialize and talk with each other in that. And I don't know how we go forth with that, if we got something we got to vote on later, but I'd like to do that with this, regardless of who gets appointed. That day is nothing but installing the appointed mayor.
I think the way we're going about it, we'll have to do that, because I don't think we want to appoint the man, and then at the next meeting have him installed and then be mayor. We need to make if we're going to make the appointment, then we need to set up a time when we can do a separate special meeting where we do the installation.
Yeah, and that's just the installment.
Yep,
nothing else.
That's it. Yeah,
Mr. Ward, if I may.
Yes, sir.
So if you all make an appointment tonight, we can schedule a special meeting for next Tuesday to do a swearing-in ceremony for that, and then whoever that person is will be the mayor prior to the next meeting.
As long as it works for whoever that person is, of course.
Yes, sir. We'll coordinate schedules.
Okay, sounds good.
your appointment.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. Do we have any public commentary? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Commission. Good evening, residents. You guys know me, I'm Dave Lowry. We've had a rough few months. Appreciate seeing all of y'all tonight, and just wanted to tell you for the record, to our fellow commissioners, to the city manager, to my fellow Lynn Haven citizens, I am willing and ready to step up to the challenge at hand. Point blank. I would have much rather done this at the ballot box. A couple of folks talked about elections. We had an election scheduled. Friday afternoon, when the former mayor resigned, he had 337 Lynn Haven residents who had already had their absentee ballots recorded by the County Supervisor of Elections, Nina Ward. It was on her website. I have a screenshot of it I'll gladly share with anyone. Mayor Nelson resigned 80 hours, give or take, before early voting started. Ample folks were more than ready to go vote. We were not given an opportunity to do so because per state law with the recall, that shuts down. As soon as the recalled target or recalled individual steps aside. We now have until next April, April of 2027, to get this city moving forward. I've shared my degrees, my financial history, my military records, my resume. I have truly tried to be an open book, and I will continue to do so. I'm an 8th generation Florida Panhandle. I say what I mean what I say. I talk straight. Tell the truth all the time. You don't have to remember what you told people. It's a fact. We got a lot of challenges, but the individuals that gave us the strife and the black cloud, if you will, organizationally, and many of the challenges that we face today are gone. We have an opportunity to hit the reset, move forward in a collaborative way where everyone is respected like golden rule. I pledge to you all tonight, I will do exactly that. And we will move forward as a community. There's a lot that can be done with transparency, accountability, sound financial management, and say what we mean and mean what we say leadership. And that's what I pledge to every one of you tonight. We can really move this city forward and get rid of this tailspin we've been in for the last year plus. I pledge to each and every one of you tonight as I look you in the eyes, I promise you to give 110%. I will do my very best to help you get us back on track. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Bashirs?
Yeah, y'all received my email earlier today, and Judy Tender did respond and say that we will appoint a new mayor tonight for the next 16 months. Look at the live interview with Veronica Live and Dr. Lowry that was recorded yesterday. So my wife, Michelle, and I did just that. We watched that interview. And Dr. Lowry presents a great case. He's ultra qualified. There's no doubt about that. I've been here in the city a long time. I'm pretty well qualified also. But it's what I want to say, and this pains me to do this, but I am going to go there. So we watched that interview. And in that interview, Dr. Lowry said he was speaking with Commissioner Warwick about becoming the mayor of Lynn Haven. And I'm going to read this this is a transcription of what he said, and I just want to put it out there. So there was a discussion going on between Dr. Lowry and Jamie Warwick, and he said he was talking to Jamie, and Jamie had called him and talked to him about the possibility of becoming the mayor of Lynn Haven. So he said about a week later, Jamie called me back, and through all of this discussion, and this is where the transcription starts. This is Dr. Lowry talking. Tell you what, you talked to Tho Bishop, who is the chairman of the Bay County Republican Party, and you talked to Judy Tender, who I also knew and thought a lot of. If they both think this is something feasible, let's sit down and talk about it. And so he called back about 2 hours later and said, Tho is a go, and Judy said she would love to. Now, you want to talk about transparency, this is talking about something that could come before the commission as a vote between two sitting commissioners that was not in the sunshine. And I have an issue with that. This is a concern for me. And that's another reason I think you need to take a little more time and go through this and make sure you're following the rules. I don't know how you cannot recuse yourself from voting on this position based on that discussion. But that's neither here nor there. I think I'm qualified. I'm sure Dr. Lowry's qualified. And if you do approve him, I'll do everything to work with him to make sure that Lynn Haven moves forward. But I just am concerned about how we arrived at this point. The last thing I'll say, the reason I did not put my name in the hat to start with, I did not agree with the recall. And for me to put my name in the hat to run for mayor would give the impression that I did, in fact, agree with the recall and would pull votes from possible people that would want to retain Jesse Nelson. So there's reasons that people did not come forward during the recall. Recall is not the same as a general election. You don't have the same parameters. You don't have the same things involved. That's why my name was not put forward first. It wasn't because I wasn't willing and able to do it, but I made a conscious choice not to do so and lend any credence to the recall commission because I felt like a lot of what they had to say was untrue. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I want to say this. I want to talk about transparency, all three commissioners. Y'all have already violated sunshine law. Ms. Tender said that she did not support the recall in any way. She did. She had the ballots in her restaurant. That was all over social media. You worked with this man to get him to come in. You, as a member of the country club, and I'm a member of the country club, brought him around and introduced him to people and passed around his resume. Y'all were already part of the recall. So that should not have been, and y'all both as sitting commissioners, Commissioner Work and Commissioner Tender, publicly displayed in the hall out there that y'all were part of the recall. How do y'all get a vote in this when you're already saying that you're part of the recall and you're against Jesse at all, period? You've already made your decision on who you want to be mayor. My husband would have put his name in for the mayor, but we call him Uncle Jesse because he's a family member to us. My husband would have gladly, along with Mr. Bashir, put his name in for the mayor, but he didn't do it because we don't agree with the recall. And again, just like Johnny Bashir just said, that would have been, we agreed with the recall. He didn't do it. This is disgraceful. And if you want to talk about transparency and he wants to say all these things, all of y'all are being supported and appointed by and promoted by the definition of the bully himself, the chair of the recall committee. So do we need to see everybody's financials? Do we need to see if Dave Lowry was paid for? What do we need to do? Do we need to see it? Where'd he come from? There's a reason that he came out of nowhere and that he's y'all's pick and he's the recall committee's pick as the paid for person. There's a lot to be said there. It's disgraceful. Let a legitimate election happen, just like when Ms. Tender vacated her seat. An election got to happen. Let the same thing happen for the mayor. If it didn't, guess what? We have all gotten in bed with the devil, and guess what? We're never going to be able to pay the devil back. You know what that means? We're eventually going to be absolved into the county because we'll end up going bankrupt and we'll get everything that we've asked for. And y'all wanted to talk about how Uncle Jesse didn't make everybody quiet in the public back here? Why aren't you? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm that bully that did the recall. It's kind of like the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey says. Jesse didn't pay his lawyer bills. He told everybody how great he was in that speech, and then he resigned. So, lady, y'all lost. And I can tell you this. I talked to Dave Lowry. I didn't talk to him about running for mayor. I talked about him about being city manager. I said, Dave, you qualified to be city manager. I said, you've got everything it takes to help this city. I said, you going to do the mayor for $1,800 a month? You get $15,000 a month or whatever to be city manager. He said, James, I'm not interested in being city manager. I have a job. I will do the mayor deal. I can do the mayor deal and do my other obligations. He said, the reason I'm not going to do it because I told the people I was going to do this, and that's what I'm going to do. And I respect that. Dave will be an asset to this city. You got 15 months to, if he don't do a good job, I'll vote against him. And I mean, it's just the way it is, because I tell Dave just like it is. And the deal is, we're here and it's hard for y'all to make a decision on anything. Y'all sit there and I was listening to Pat for 10 minutes. I said, Pat, make a damn motion. If that's what you want, make a motion. Let's get on with doing this thing and get the city moving in the right way. This is the only chance we've had to get it going the right way. All these people's gone. I am not mad with Jesse Nelson, period. I don't have any reason to, after this gets straightened out, to ever even speak Jesse Nelson's name again. I have nothing against him, don't know his family. I've sure not threatened his family or done any of that. There's not any bad actors. The recall committee is by the law. That's the only way you can do a recall. Everybody says recall is not a dirty word. It's a way to get something done if you can't get it any other way. That's the way it's structured. And that's it. I mean, Jesse said we lost the first round. We didn't lose the first round. They dated the dates wrong, 6-7 instead of 7-6. So I lost 28 days in the count. So that's why we lost on that. It wasn't, we had 1,600 votes the first time. And I said, well, hell, we'll just do it again. We're not going to argue about it. We got 1,600 the next time, it's 3,200. And then we got 26 or 700 the third time. We did it 3 times. Jesse put on that recall that he didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't guilty of anything. It's on the recall. And he asked the people not to vote for it. Do not sign this. But they did. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Jerry Parker, Rhett Place. First of all, Dave he can talk to anybody he wants to. He's not been appointed by anybody at this point. He can talk to any one of you. He could talk to Jesse. He could talk to me. He can talk to anybody. So let's just make that clarified. Also, the recall committee. I was not part of that committee. I was a volunteer. I was not a person on the committee. People have accused me of being a part of that committee. However, I was not. Yes, did I go and help getting the signature signed? Absolutely. So when the recall was actually done the second time, there was 2,500 signatures. 2,500. Do you know how many were in this previous vote that was done with Jesse Nelson? 1,700. Guys, that's 800 more of just people coming out and saying, I'm done. I'm done with what's going on here. Do you know how many times I've been told that I was a racist by Jesse Nelson? Do you know how many times? Y'all might want to watch some video of when we were talking about the Lynn Haven corruption. A lot of people do not realize what went on and how it went on. I was at Tallahassee every single hearing, every single trial. A lot of people don't realize the lies that were told on that stand by Vicki Gaynor, by the sheriff, and by the chief of police. They were lies. I saw it. I was there. You guys, y'all need to get your stuff together. Dave Lowry is your guy. Get it done.
Thank you. Mr. Langford, and then I'll come to you, Ms. Moore.
Corey Langford, 1112 Louisiana. Man, there was some misinformation said up here. I remember we were sitting over there across the street before this building got built. After you stepped down and run for mayor, Ms. Tender, and I believe Ms. Judy Vandergriff was appointed by the commission at that point to fill that vacancy. So just to clarify that for anybody who wasn't there, I was there. There's been a lot of discussion tonight talking about, well, had I known this was going to happen, I would have thrown my name in, or if this would happen, then I would have done that. Well, here's the problem. All right, your problem shouldn't be with the commission. It should be with Jesse Nelson. Okay, that individual was the only individual who had the ability to give us as residents a voice at the ballot box. And he took that away from us, regardless of what side you want to sit on of this, okay? So we sit up here all day and talk about, well, the people ought to get to make the choice, the people this and the people that. I agree with you 100%, all right? But that decision was removed from us on Friday at 7 p.m. That also changed the rules. Okay. In poker, I'm not a gambling guy, but I've watched it on TV. When they play the Texas Hold'em, and then, you look at your cards and then you bet, and then they lay out some cards and then you decide if you want to bet some more. All right. Before they flip over that last card, they don't show you cards and let you bring some of your bet back. No, that's not how it works. The rules didn't change. Okay. But in this instance, they did. All right. And Mr. Nelson changed those rules. Mr. Nelson took that voice away from us, the voters. All right, I'm gonna get off of that and talk about Mr. Lowry and how much I support Mr. Lowry running when he did. He stepped up, like some of these other individuals have said, during a rough time in the city of Lynn Haven. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't easy to be the individual to say, hey, if you guys want to remove the current mayor, I'll do the job. I'll finish out his term for him. The way I look at this is we got a 2-year interview with Mr. Lowry. If he chooses to run again, great. We'll know what we have during the next election. If he doesn't, that's fine too. There'll be another election. All right? But I fully support him. I've talked with him several times. He's a straight shooter, and he knows I am as well. But I fully support Dr. Lowry to be the mayor of Lynn Haven. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Moore?
There's been a lot said, but I did want to speak in case there was any question. First, I want to address something that was said earlier. We aren't a democracy, actually. I mean, we're a democratic society, but we're a republic. And we have our elected officials up here. We have a charter. The charter says how this is supposed to go. An appointment can happen in 30 days. If it doesn't happen in 30 days, then the governor gets to say something. He didn't when Margaret Anderson left office, and there was you were here, there were, 4 people that sat there for a couple of years. She left, but good luck calling the governor, because I've been trying to get him to come look at, what's been happening in Bay County for 4+ years and haven't seen him. But that being said, like I said, I think you all need to follow the charter. I think that's what you're going to do. When it comes to some of the other names that have come up tonight, honestly, all of them, even Mr. Marler, they ran for office and they did not win. So I think the people have spoken when it comes to them. They want to run for office. In a couple of years, go ahead and run again. When it comes to Mr. Bashir's, quite frankly, I don't know how he thinks he's going to work with this commission when he stands behind Vicki Gaynor as she accuses the city of discrimination and racism. How are you going to work with 2 people who just got served today? How are you going to be an effective leader if you wanted to become mayor? So I don't know how you do that. You already disqualified yourself in that situation. This affects me. I don't live in the city limits of Lynn Haven, as I've been stated and everybody knows, but this affects me. Whenever I drive into the city, I come to these meetings. I care what happens in the city. I care what happens in Bay County. Someone talked about how long they've lived in Lynn Haven. I'm 57 years old. I was born at Bay Medical Center. And I've seen a lot of things happen in this county over the 57 years of being here. And I want good things to happen here. I want good things to happen in Lynn Haven. I want them to happen in Bay County. And, honestly, you need a good leader. You need a strong leader. And I think Dr. Dave is a proven leader, and he's willing to step up to the plate. And so I think we need to honor that. And I hope, like I said, I think I know how people feel. I don't know how Sam's gonna vote, but I hope you all vote unanimously for Dr. Dave Lowry.
Thank you. Mr. Scray?
A few things first. Chris, thanks for turning the AC up. It's hot as heck back there. Commissioner Warwick, I would really appreciate it if you would enforce the rules of decorum for the noise and the clapping. It's already hard enough to hear back there with ringing in this ear. That's one thing that I directly talked about the former mayor not doing in this meeting hall, is enforcing the rules that the commission set in place. Whoever's chairing the meeting, that is like your primary job. So please, for the rest of the night, if people get out of order and clap, that's against the rules. Smack that gavel It's a rare opportunity for you to be able to do so. In regards to the rest of this, what was described as sunshine violations tonight, Amy, I asked that if the chair would allow, if you please correct me on this, but I believe what was described as sunshine violations tonight are not, because a member of the community can talk to one commissioner and then go to another commissioner and say whatever they want, because those two commissioners are not directly speaking. It would be classified legally as hearsay. Is that correct?
So you are correct in that a member of the community can speak to any official. It has been held to be a sunshine law violation if that member of the community serves as a liaison to communicate a message from one elected official to another elected official on the same board. I don't know that I've heard the facts here tonight to establish whether or not that has happened, but it could.
Okay. I don't believe that anybody on the commission, present or past, was trying to do that. They were trying to send somebody as a liaison. I think what we have is we have unpaid advocates and lobbyists that try to get what they want for their community done in their community. We pay people to go to Tallahassee and do that for us. So if you want something in your community, we are a apathetic community. Get off your butt and fight for it. I do a lot of that. And what I'll say is, if Mr. Lowry is appointed tonight, and I at this point I suspect that he will be, we have until the next election to see if everything matches up to what we've said. And if it doesn't, I'll be the first to say I'll hold him as accountable, if not more accountable than any of the rest of you, because I have problems with the past mayor, and it's probably widely known I have problems with the past mayor before that too. And so with that, I want to just say I appreciate Mr. Lowry stepping up, spending 4 hours with me talking about everything. I wasn't sure about him at first. I spent 4 hours with him. He showed me a lot. We talked. We had a lot to disagree on, but it was all very professional. And I think in the long term that we can work through the differences and find a happy medium, because what really matters in Lynn Haven is that the residents want the best quality of life for the lowest cost possible. And for that, I support Dave Lowry for mayor.
Thank you. If I could say one thing before we proceed, it doesn't sound, I probably doesn't sound as loud up here as it does back there, but Mr. Scray is right. According to the decorum rules, there's supposed to be no clapping, booing, hissing, disturbing what's going on, talking back and forth and things like that. So I would ask that your cooperation with that, and he is correct. We're not supposed to do that. So thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Bashirs, 811 Louisiana Avenue. I listened to the David Lowry interview with Veronica, and the question that I have is, he said, tell you what, talk to Tho Bishop and talk to Judy Tender, and Commissioner Warwick called him back and said, Tho says yes and Judy Tender says yes. I want to know if you talked directly to Judy Tender. Who talked to Judy Tender? And how did...
I can answer that. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's my question. That's my question. And from that statement, it appears to be a violation of the Sunshine Law, that the decision was made with the approval of Tho Bishop, Judy Tender, and yourself, that you would support him to run for mayor. Thank you.
I would love to answer. First, let me say, and I'm going to go the long way around here. In 2017, when Margot was the mayor, I would text her with a question, and occasionally she would answer me back and say, we can't be talking about that because we could possibly vote on it or whatever. Margot kept me real straight, real quick on what you could and couldn't talk to another commissioner about. She also made it very clear to me that as long as the person was not elected and they did not hold a seat, I was free to talk to whoever I want. And I did. I have talked to David Lowry. on one occasion, I believe. And that was because he was at the cafe meeting with somebody else. It was very brief. I also listened to Veronica's live. Oh, I guess that was yesterday or whatever. I've never pulled any bones about not supporting Dave. I like him. I think he stands for good, and the truth is the truth. But I don't believe I've ever broke sunshine law. Him and I have never discussed Dave. I've not discussed it with any commissioner.
Well, that was the statement he made, was that Jamie called him back and said, Bo said yes, and Judy Tender said yes. So if, I'm taking what he said, not what either one of you have said. I'm not accusing you of sunshine violation, but if that was the case, then I have a problem with it. So
yeah,
I would like an explanation because
and if that did happen, you should be upset, but I'm here to tell you it didn't happen like that. So I'll be, I know it's been talked about a little bit here, so I'll just come right out and say it. And you can ask the recall committee and that I had no contact with the recall committee as far as the recall. I did nothing with the recall.
I'm not talking about.
Well, it was brought up before, so I want to clear the air, right? And I'm going to answer your question. So when it got to phase 2 of the recall, and it looked like it was going to be successful, I had concerns, and I'm like, who's going to be our next mayor? And I started looking around, and I started looking around, and I started looking around. And I remember first time I met Mr. Lowry is the first time I ran for office. I was in his neighborhood. He was walking his dogs, and we had a good conversation that time. And I talked to him a couple times after that. Talked to him when I was running the second time. He came out, talked to both of us when we were out there in early voting, when we were over in the little field over here by the parking lot. And so that sparked my interest, and I went to Dr. Dave Lowry, and I talked to him for a while, and I thought about it, and I went back to him, and I asked him, would you be interested in possibly running for mayor? And he said yes, and that was it. And the other thing we talked about where we did the whole thing out in the hallway here, I did go to it. And the only reason I was there to support Dave Lowry. I didn't go there for the recall. The only reason I was there to support Dave Lowry. That was it. And I made that statement when I talked. So I don't know if I answered your question.
No, so.
What was the question?
The question is, was there a phone call to David Lowry from you where you said, Bo Bishop said yes and Judy Tender said yes?
I never said that to him, no. He went. I do talk to Tho Bishop about stuff, yes. That's no secret.
But why did Dave Lowry say that happened?
Because he went to the Bay GOP to get their endorsement.
That's not what he said in that
Okay.
interview.
Okay.
I think somebody needs to.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I've had tonight counts 2 personal attacks against me. The first one was that I hadn't voted in 5 years, and Miss Marler, the one that accused me of what she did earlier tonight, she publicly said that, posted it on Facebook. Actually, former Mayor Margot Anderson sent it to me. Said, "Is this true?" And I promptly provided 20 years of a report, voter activity report from the Bay County Commissioners, where I had voted in.
Can someone start the clock, please? Sorry.
She didn't get the clock for sure, but that's okay. I won't take 3 minutes. I've literally voted in every single election for the past 20 years. All by absentee except 3, which was in person. I did do an interview the other day with Miss Marla, or excuse me, with Veronica. And if I misspoke, I will certainly clarify. Apologize for that. I did speak to, and I've never hid the fact that Commissioner Warwick actually encouraged me to run. I called him and said, you guys really need a cigar chomping John or Jane Wayne kind of person to be your next city manager. Straight shooting, transparent, no BS leader. We talked about that for a while. A week later, he called me back and said, would you consider this? It looks like the recall's going to happen and we need a good alternative. Would you consider it? I did. We talked about it for quite a while. And I said, well, I need to talk to Judy Tender. I need to talk to Tho Bishop. And if we're all on board, we'll do it. Because I support and respect both of them and have for years. I have voted for them in the past. I supported them. I have gone to them as my commissioners and talked to them. Tho Bishop was very encouraging. It was that. So if I have misspoke in some way to ascertain that Commissioner Warwick was violating Sunshine Law, that was not my intent. So I did go speak to Miss Tender after that at her cafe. Mr. Warwick was not involved. So this is some last minute kind of bovine scatology, I suppose. But it is what it is. And that's all I've got to say about it. If you commissioners have any questions about it, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Thank you.
I can surmise you had the support of one individual, you had the support of another, you're in a radio interview, and you said you had the support of both those people.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tho Bishop is the chair of the Republican Party.
I think that faces the question head on, you know what I mean? So.
Yes, sir. So,
I don't have anything further to say as far as that goes. But I have to say that I try to stay away from Facebook. People have big nerves when they're on Facebook that they'd never say to your face. But the other day I had to chuckle. It was the funniest of all. It was written in there that I was giving away free food if you came to my cafe and signed a petition. There has never been a bigger lie than that, ever. Now, I can't even, I mean, that to me is hilarious. And as a commissioner, as a public servant, I think we all have to, we've got to be aware that people's opinions and where they're sitting at the time, what they're thinking, they're going full hog into what they want and things like that. I'd like to think they don't mean to bold-faced lie, except I've never given away food for somebody to sign a piece of paper. But I think it's a tough job. And I think you're up for it because you have to have the intelligence to let it sift through and keep doing what we've been elected to do.
politics is a science of people. You got to have a thick skin and you've got to like people. And if you don't, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah. And I did first meet you. I met you at the country club, but I didn't bring you there. The bully brought you there. Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
Those guys beat me up after I played golf every time I played too.
And for the record on that, that particular individual, I will say this. 2 individuals accused me of not voting in 2021. I voted in every single election for the last 20 years, including when I was on the opposite side of the world serving in uniform, harm's way. One individual, Johnny Bashir, actually owned it and apologized publicly. And in fact, I'm going to shake your hand.
Hold on, please. Please help
The
me
other
with that.
individual,
Thank you.
I presented the information directly to her. She never acknowledged. In fact, she came up here tonight and attacked me publicly and then left. So take it for what it's worth. And I corrected her and provided the same information. You're not going to please all people, but I can guarantee you I will do my very best to be transparent, honest, straight shooting, and do right by all of you and the citizens of Lynn Haven collectively, this organization and our community.
Thank you. Didn't some of that stuff have something to do with what you were doing in the military that you couldn't have those records out there? Or
Yes, sir. My particular, I was a cyberspace operations officer, and cyberspace ninjas, if you will, are one of the exempted categories for data mass privacy. So that and National Guardsmen are also allowed to be exempt from that as first responders. So there were multiple categories that applied to me at the end of my career.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for letting me talk again. I just wanted to say, I did I pulled the super voter list from the supervisor of elections. It did not include Dr. Lowry's information. Then I emailed them a second time and asked them, was there any way that someone could not appear on that list that voted? And they replied no. They knew of no way other than moving out of the county or removing their voter ID for them not to show up on the super voters list if they had voted. Subsequent to that, I did say that online because that's the information I gathered, and it was reconfirmed. Once information was provided by Dr. Lowry that he had indeed voted, that's what I did. I posted a public apology to him because it was misinformation on my part, and I do not like misinformation at all. Now, the conversation between you and Dr. Lowry, if y'all say it transpired like you say it said, that satisfies me. I'm okay with that. I have no issues. I was concerned if it had occurred like that, it was a problem for me. But if it didn't, I'm okay with that. That's good. Let's move forward with it. The only thing that I ask at this point is when y'all do vote to approve Dr. Lowry as our next mayor, please let the decorum of the city chamber change and let people applaud for him. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Colonel Chris Alexa, United States Air Force, retired. I just want to highlight something that you've all seen in Dave's performance reports that he shared that you may not understand. You're not dealing with the bottom of the barrel here. On his performance reports, where it says number 1 of 20 commanders or number 1 of 200 majors or whatever it says, I don't remember exactly. Point is, those things don't happen by chance, and they do get challenged. All the way to the headquarters level of the United States Air Force. So when a squadron commander, a mission support group commander, a wing commander, and a general officer signs a report that says, this is my number 1 guy, it gets challenged all the way to the Air Force Promotion Board Secretariat and then to the headquarters Air Force. Those numbers are real. He is the cream of the crop. Not going to get an opportunity like this again. So I would encourage you with every fiber of my being as a retired professional military officer, having been a commander at multiple levels myself, been in charge of the second largest Air Force base in the world, as a mission support group level, not a wing commander. He is the real deal. And I 100% support him filling this seat. And like's been said before, very wisely, if you don't like what you get in 13 months, you can vote him out. My guess is we're going to be voting for him again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Brian Gray, 113 Florida Avenue. I'd like to second some opinions that I've heard. Dr. Lowry's a great candidate. We got a unique opportunity for him to serve the citizens of Lynn Haven, and fact of the matter is he's the only one to step up to the plate and qualify and express interest when no one else would. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? No one else? All right. If you could call a roll, please.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. Mr. Lightfoot needs to take a bathroom break, so we'll take a 5-minute break. to order at, time is it? 7:32. All right, we're on item number 12, discussion and possible approval of the interim policy, waiting to engage. Assistant City Manager Jennifer Hodges.
Yeah, is the mic on? Yep, okay.
Yep, I can hear you.
We're asking for discussion and approval of an interim policy which will allow the city manager to approve certain specialized employees with specialized qualifications to be able to address emergencies that happen during the night and on the weekends. Currently under an interim policy passed in 22, this was restricted to only directors who had to be here 24/7 and available 24/7. That move was to try to control overtime costs, which it did, but it also took away the actual qualified individuals to be able to respond to those emergencies. What we're asking the commission to allow is an interim policy which will allow us to compensate the qualified employees with a stipend, a weekly stipend. I call it an inconvenience payment or stipend for having to stay restricted in the area of the county and be able to respond. It's one person per week, not loads of people, and they are selected for specialized qualifications.
It's like an on-call, right?
Technically, it's not on call. That's a legal term. It's our way of still allowing, having the employee compensated for being controlled in some area and being able to respond. Once they are called in, they go on the clock, but they have to be available to respond to that call. On-call is very specific by law that we have to, like our firefighters are on call. They're being housed in a city location and being able to respond. That's why this is called waiting to engage. It's a legal labor term.
And it's $11
a day.
A day, yeah.
Yes.
To have to stay
around and respond.
You know, we used to do a on-call, like when I had a restaurant at the mall when I ran Ruby Tuesday, and we had to, because if it rained, you had to have 2 or 3 extra people to come in and work, because a rainy Monday in Panama City in springtime was a big sales for the mall. So, but every time you did that, you had to pay those people for calling in. You had to give them hours on the clock at minimum wage to
Anybody
do it.
who's called into service is on the clock and they are paid. This is requiring one specialized person to be able to make those calls, either fix the emergency or be able to call a crew in. They have to be the ready person to make those calls.
They don't get like a minimum pay just to be that on-call status?
Again, on-call status is a different definition.
And it doesn't always have to be a director. This is to
Correct.
give them a break.
This is
Give
this
them
is
a
the
break.
employees that are actually
Yes.
doing the work.
Yes. I make a motion, we pass.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any comments from the public? Yes, sir, Mr. Langford.
I would ask that the policy reflect non-salaried employees, please. Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
You say
On a non-salary,
this is for the non-salaried employees.
you good?
Oh.
Do we need to add that in there?
Salary.
The non-salaried employees
Oh,
are the ones that are doing.
I think I understand what you're saying. He doesn't want this, so salary employees wouldn't get this.
Exempt, he's referring to non-exempt employees.
So a salary employee wouldn't get this then.
Right, that's a director.
Director or some of our other positions that are exempt do not get the stipend.
Okay. Do we need to clarify that in there or anything?
They're not the ones responding to sewer backups and water leaks and animal control.
Okay.
I mean, it's written out in the policy of who it is.
Okay. All right. Call the roll.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes.
All right, item 13, discussion of possible approval of removing planning board members, Mr. Perrin and Mr. Murphy, due to 3+ unexcused absences. Interim city manager.
Yes, sir. Those two planning board members have failed to show up for the last, over the last 3 meetings. We do have planning board members that are in waiting, basically, that want to apply. We need you all to remove these two so that we can advertise for the requirement and bring back before you new planning board members.
So I know we talked about this, so just make sure everyone understands. It's not, we've tried contacting them multiple
Yes, sir.
times, no response.
No response, not responding to the agendas, not responding to phone calls or emails, and not showing up to meetings.
Okay.
Make a motion, we pass.
Like, second the motion to remove.
All right, any further discussion? Anything from the public? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes.
All right, item 14, discussion of possible approval of drafting a new ordinance amending the comprehensive plan to reinstate the policy elements recommended by Florida Commerce. Who's going to be speaking on that? Oh.
Ms. Harrison?
Miss Angela?
Harrison.
Miss Harrison. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Yes, this is just a administrative type thing that we had adopted the comp plan. Then the city has came back, and my understanding is it's probably a statewide issue regarding the Hurricane Debbie, Hurricane Helene, and Hurricane Milton. So while these hurricanes did not directly impact the city, the state is requiring the city to correct conflicts with House Bill 180. And the only way to do so is to put infrastructure element 11, policy 62, and capital improvements element policy 12, infrastructure element policy 17, and coastal management element policy 32 back to what they were before and readopt the amendments.
Is that a resolution?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Any discussion?
No, so we got to put them back and then redo the process that we thought we had. Remember?
Yes.
Well, motion to put them back and start over.
I second it.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any discussion for the public? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes.
All right, item 15, discussion of possible approval of resolution 2026-01-506 to support the FDOT grant of application to fund a sidewalk project in Lynn Haven.
A resolution by the City of Lynn Haven, Florida to support construction of a sidewalk on Carolina Avenue with transportation alternative set aside program funding and providing for an effective date.
Mr. Yankee, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Thank you. This is an application. We are resubmitting this to DOT for the Transportation Alternative Grant. You may recall we had a discussion about this sidewalk construction last year. Our project was not the top selection, the top choice for this grant. We made some adjustments based on the comments that we received from DOT and are resubmitting our application for this new upcoming application or grant cycle.
All right, any other questions?
Nope, I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All right, I got a motion and second. Any further discussion from the commission? Any discussion for the public? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
I see like.
Yes.
All right, item 16, discussion of possible approval of resolution 2026-01-507 to reschedule the regular commission meeting scheduled for January 27th, 5:30 p.m. to January 29th, 5:30 p.m.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida related to meeting times, rescheduling the commission's second January meeting to January 29th, 2026, and providing an immediately effective date.
My question is why?
This is the days that the Florida League of Cities Week is going on in Tallahassee at the Capitol. We have a conflict with our meeting. We will be in Tallahassee the 26th through the 28th, so we will move this meeting to the 29th to keep it the regularly scheduled week.
So we're just talking about this year.
Just this week, the 29th. Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept.
Yes, second.
So, do we know who all's going yet?
Have received feedback from you, Commissioner Ward, Commissioner Peebles, Commissioner Perno, and I'm assuming that our new mayor appointee Lowry will go,
Okay. So I have a question.
and myself.
Okay. I have a question because this came up one time we went to Tallahassee. We all went up there, took a picture. It was on, you probably remember this. We took a picture and we got accused of breaking the Sunshine Law violation. So, make a long story short, I called around. I said I wanted to be investigated because if I broke the Sunshine Law, I want to be told I broke the Sunshine Law so everybody knows. I called around the Attorney General's office, State Attorneys, Florida Ethics Commission. After getting the runaround, I finally got a call from Larry Bastard himself, and he explained me the process if somebody report a Sunshine Law violation. He did tell me that people go to Tallahassee all the time to advocate for their city for grants and things like that. This is not a Sunshine Law violation, but just so everyone's aware, and I know we talked about it earlier tonight about Sunshine Law violations. If you want to report a Sunshine Law violation, the process is you need to go to Lynn Haven Police Department, fill out a report. That report goes to the state attorneys, for our state attorney's office for our district. They will determine if an investigation needs to occur. And if they do determine an investigation continues to occur, they'll do an investigation and they'll determine if it needs to be prosecuted or not. So I guess my question is, city attorney, does this violate Sunshine Law if we go back up to Tallahassee to talk to our representatives and go to
Participating in legislative days does not by itself create a Sunshine Law violation, no.
Okay. Just want to make sure to put that all out there so all the residents know about this and we're clear and transparent about it. Anything else?
Still make a motion.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any public commentary? No? All right, call the roll.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles.
Yes.
All right, number 17, discussion of possible approval of resolution 2026-01-509, awarding the Tennessee Avenue Sidewalk Construction Contract, IFB 25.26-02 to BCL Civil Contractors in the amount of $623,137.69. If you could read the resolution, please.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving an agreement with BCL Civil Contractors relating to the Tennessee Avenue Sidewalk Project in the total amount of $623,137.69.
All right. Sir, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you, sir?
Good.
Before I begin, I just wanted to kind of highlight that this agenda item and the next three agenda items are approved on the fiscal year 26 budget. The projects being Tennessee Avenue, the Bell Circle, Water Main Connection Loop, and Bradford Circle. For this particular one, it was posted on the 3rd and closed on the 11th of December. 6 bids were received, and the lowest bid was BCL Contractors, as you've seen. This project's FDOT funded, and FDOT has concurred with all of the findings from the bid opening.
All right.
I got.
Any questions?
Commissioner Wark, I'd like to add, we talked about contingency money when we talked about the new procurement policy. Because this is a DOT grant-funded project, there will not be contingency awarded in this. If there is a change order, we will get it approved first through the funding source and then bring it back before the commission.
Right.
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the commission?
Just want to say we got Tennessee sidewalk going. We got potential for Carolina sidewalk. And we got a little strip of land on 14th Street where they connect, where we wouldn't have a sidewalk to connect the Tennessee sidewalk to the Carolina sidewalk. Do you follow where I'm going? And talk to Ben. There's a possibility for potential CRA project here, but if we get both these things going, don't you think we want to on the connector road, because everything goes from 14th Street? Don't you think we should run a little bit of sidewalk from Tennessee to Carolina?
We can get a cost estimate and talk about it at the mid-year budget conference.
Okay, I would just think that puts it all together. It ties those two sidewalks, perfectly.
So this is a big one with Tennessee because it's a lot of traffic, so this is going to help a lot. So, any other discussion? All right, anything from the public? All right, if you could call the roll, please.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes.
All right, item 18, discussion of possible approval of resolution 2026-01-508, awarding the Tennessee Ave Construction CEI Services bid, RFQ 25.26-01 to Panhandle Engineering as the most qualified bidder and authorize the city manager to negotiate contract details. Could you read the resolution, please?
A resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, approving an agreement with Panhandle Engineering relating to construction, engineering, and inspection services for the Tennessee Avenue Sidewalk Project in the construction total amount of $623,137.69. Just clarity there. The $623,000 is the construction award. Panhandle's price is not in here. Once awarded tonight, if awarded, we will negotiate the contract with them.
Any discussion?
Did Panhandle collect the bids?
No, ma'am. This was Dewberry designed this project. We have to have a third party CEI. Multiple companies put in for the CEI. The RFQ scored Panhandle as the highest from the scoring team.
I will make the motion that we go with, we negotiate with Panhandle for the CEI.
All right, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the commission? Any discussion from the public? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Peebles?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
No.
All right, item 19, discussion and possible approval of resolution 2026-01-510, awarding contract IFB 25.26-07 for Bell Circle Water Main Connection Loop Improvements to Mainline Construction, LLC, in the amount of $54,893.15.
A resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, approving an agreement with Mainline Construction, LLC, relating to the Bell Circle Water Main Connection Loop Project in an amount not to exceed $59,893.15. And Commissioner, this project does have a $5,000 contingency. The low bid was $54,893. We are approving a contingency of $5,000.
So does everyone understand what the contingency means? You know what the contingency means?
They automatically approve it if they need it.
If there's a
Change order.
there's a change over $5,000 and it has to come back to the commission.
Okay.
So,
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
all right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the commission? Any discussion from the public?
Just wanted,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry, just wanted to say thanks for having that contingency.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any discussion from the public? I have to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Item 20, discussion and possible approval of resolution 2026-01-511, awarding contract IFB 25.26-08 for Bradford Circle Water System Improvements to 850 Construction Services, LLC, in the amount of $277,823.47. If you could read resolution, please.
A resolution of the City of Glen Haven, Florida, approving an agreement with 850 Construction Services, LLC, relating to the Bradford Circle Water System Improvement Project in an amount not to exceed $297,823.47. And again, this project has a contingency of $20,000 built into that $297,000.
Any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the commission? Any discussion from the public? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Item 21, discussion and possible approval of resolution 2026-01-512 to renew the 5-year mutual aid agreement with Tyndall Air Force Base. If you you could read the resolution, please.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving a mutual aid agreement with the Secretary of the Air Force relating to the provision of fire and emergency services and hazardous materials incident response in the city and at Tyndall Air Force Base.
Commission, this is just a renewal from an existing agreement that we're renewing for 5 years to aid them if they need any assistance at the Air Force Base, if we could get called upon.
All right.
Make a motion to pass.
I've got a motion.
I'll second.
A second. Any discussion from the commission?
Thank you, Chief.
Welcome. Any discussion from the public? All right, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Tender?
Yes.
Commissioner Perno?
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peebles?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Item 22, discussion of public records policy. Commissioner Tender.
I believe this has been straightened out. It was sent to me, and the policy does read that commissioners can ask for a public request at no cost if it involves their job and what we're doing. Didn't you send that to me? Or, yes, so that is how it is. So I'm okay with that. So there's really nothing to discuss.
Right.
At first, they turned me down and wanted me to pay $23. So I'm giving away all that free food at work. I can't pay that. Anyway, so there really isn't anything discussed. The policy is already in place.
Okay.
I would recommend, and we can wait until we have a new mayor sworn in, but I do recommend we revisit this policy. There are some things that staff would like to change. It was put in 1996 or 1998, so would like in the next couple of months to revisit this policy. We can bring you all a revised one for your approval and go from there.
Barely even had computers back then.
Do we have to wait a couple of months, or is it something we can?
Miss Myers is shaking her head. She'll get right on it.
Just figure.
We're good.
I don't think our new mayor would want to wait a couple months. I think he wants to jump in.
All right. Okay. On to the next item.
I have something to add, if it's real quick.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Commissioner. I actually took this opportunity to look around at some other cities and some other officials to see how they do it, to try to get their ideas. And one thing that really stuck out to me that I kind of like is that in Panama City Beach, they have it in their policy that the first hour is free. So if it's something that takes less than an hour, then there won't be a charge. And that's not just to the commission, that's everybody. But anything beyond that, that's when we start charging. And I kind of like that, because if it's something as simple as, pulling a record that takes someone 30 minutes to do, I realize that there's man hours involved, but just 30 minutes, I mean, I like the idea of the first hour being free. So I just wanted to add that. Maybe that's something we can add to something whenever the attorney brings the policy in front of us.
Okay.
I do think that public requests have become a money-making deal, and that's occurred. I don't know.
So I promise you there is no profit that the city is receiving off of it. However, it does take a lot of time of staff pulled away from there. We do need to keep in mind our instruction here lately has been to kind of downsize and not continue to add staff. So the staff members, their main job is not to go collect records. So it pulls people off of their daily duties to go do. We do need to collect some of those funds for that time.
Can I speak to the 60 minutes real quick? So the public records law says that an extensive request is any request that requires more than 15 minutes to locate, gather, redact, review, prepare, and make available for inspection. In the city of Panama City Beach, they did determine that an hour was going to be their benchmark for what an extensive request would be. You can pick any number between 50 and 60 or even something higher if you'd like, but 15 is as low as you could go.
Yeah, I'd like to get input from the staff before making any decisions. So
I'd like to ask a question. Not sure who to ask it to, so feel free to jump in. I was told, and I don't know if it's true, so I'm asking, is it true? Do we still have records, paper records in boxes stored somewhere that if we asked something about those, we would have to go dig
Yes,
through
ma'am.
those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So we have paper records in a couple different places. We actually reached out to a company that digitizes those records. It was about $300,000 to get them all done.
Mhm.
Had another company reach out that's going to give us a quote. 300 grand is not something that we can just add to the budget to digitize those documents.
Mhm.
So it will be a long drawn out process, but there are a lot of paper records still out there.
So they have to literally go dig through the boxes.
Yes, ma'am. If
Wow.
it was something that's in that, yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't we be smarter just to hire another person?
Well,
Of course, they
I
couldn't
think
get it done in a year.
I think the
guess.
bigger thing is how do we go into the digital era with this?
Yes.
Now, I have a couple different ways we might be able to tackle that, but I'd like to get input from the staff before I start saying some things.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think we definitely need to get digital era so to make it easier for the staff. And because I know and this is not a problem just in Lynn Haven, but across the nation, even with like not just municipalities, but judicial courts and that, they get backlog because they get so many public records requests. And some of them are no kidding legitimate. I'm not saying that, but then there's other ones that just want to slow the process down and that. And
Well, if they had to pay over an hour, you'd have no idea how long it would take you.
And that's part of the problem.
Right.
It's a reason that you need to collect. We may give an estimate of 2 hours for something. They pay the 2-hour invoice, and it wound up taking 6 hours to go find it.
Wow.
that's why I think going to the digital era will hopefully make it easier on the staff if we can, from this point forward. I don't know about the stuff in the past. That's going to be a lot of money.
Aren't those records all from Hurricane?
There's old building plans, permits, some old financial records, various things.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion?
I will say this. Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe it's something that we further just look at, like maybe the first hour is free. One thing maybe I hadn't considered is Panama City Beach has a clerk, whereas we have a city manager clerk. So it might be something we want to wait until if the public decides they want a clerk by voting for one. That could be something we could discuss at that point. Maybe we need to wait until the public decides if they want to clerk before we start giving away free man hours. It was just something I wanted to bring to everyone's attention.
You said city clerk?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
If the public decides and votes on the ballot that they want a city clerk, maybe that could be one of their functions. Because right now we have a city clerk / city manager, and that is a lot of responsibility to then add. Okay, because in a lot of other cities, the city clerk is some of the city clerk is managing those records, and so maybe that's why they're able to give discounts on, because we take in our ethics training every single year that it's well within the city's right to charge for public records if it takes excessive amount of time. And when you don't have a dedicated clerk, it kind of makes it difficult. So maybe I should rescind the 1 hour thing until the public decides on the clerk.
Okay. All good points. Appreciate it. Any other discussion? All right. Item 23, discussion of employee grievance committee.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about this. I'd really rather put it back till the next meeting. And I'll tell you why. I'm waiting for a couple calls back. And of course, interim city managers told me a nightmare story about grievance committee. I have contacted a handful of employees, and they probably wouldn't even be comfortable using it. So I really want to look into, I've got a couple calls into different cities asking how they do it. And it just seems like a can of worms to me. They have a couple of directors. They have a couple of employees from different departments that sit in on an employee grievance. And But I can't help it to think the employee's going to think, well, if I complain, I'm gone. So I would like to wait and table it and see what kind of responses I get that I'm waiting for.
Like to go ahead and add it to the next agenda, or just wait till you hear feedback and then decide?
Wait for feedback.
Okay, just let me know and we'll add it.
That's
That it? No other discussion?
That's it, Toots.
All right. And the last item, 24, discussion of city manager position. Commissioner Perno.
I know we're going to get, I didn't know we're going to get the remaining or the newest, greatest city manager applications.
And Gerard's intention is to give you, you received 52, some were duplicates. So I think there are 49 total applications, and his goal is to have them all copied and ready for y'all to review by the 22nd. So that's middle of next week.
Right. I just hope that next agenda, that we have the item on there and we can make a definitive decision to whether we're going to whittle it down to finalists or whether we're going to remove Chris's title and give him a contract. My feelings are we got a new mayor in place. We got a new police chief. We're embarking on, a whole new horizon for the city. So why don't we set the wheels in motion as soon as we can? So I really would encourage that we can make the agenda and make it on the next agenda so our new mayor's included. Then I might be a little ahead of it to bring it up for discussion now, but I feel like we need to bring those cards to the table for the next meeting. So I feel I've got my feelings, and I and I'm not asking everybody to play it out right here right now, but
I need to see the applications and the resume.
Right. I get it. And we had one look at them already. You know what I mean? And this is going to be a redundance of the ones we've already had,
and not necessarily
plus the other ones.
Not necessarily.
This is in addition to what we've already gotten, right?
This is 49 new applications.
49 new ones.
So we're getting 49 more.
New.
Yes.
Okay. That's right. Okay. Yeah. You're right. I know what you're saying now. So, yeah. Is that it? Or do you have...
That's it. That was just my feelings. I didn't know if anybody else had anything to say.
No, I had already sat down and talked to Gerard, and he told me the same thing, 52 applications. And
yeah.
Exact thing
He had
Myers
mentioned
said.
it to me, but I thought they were some of the same ones from before. So
I don't remember him saying that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Commissioner, there are some duplications, and the team will do a review to help give you all the spreadsheet again from this application process, who meets your minimum qualifications. Therefore, it may be, while you'll get all the applications, there may be a guide to help you focus in on those that are determined to meet minimum qualifications.
Okay. Thank you. All right, anything else?
as long as and this will be on the next agenda, right?
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Peebles, or Mayor Pro Tem Peebles.
This is the last agenda item. I just want to say thank you, Commissioner Ward, for chairing the meeting while I was away.
Anytime. Hopefully I made you proud.
So just confirming everyone is available for next Tuesday. If we schedule a special meeting for the swearing in of Mayor Lowry, we will do it at the normal 5:30 p.m. It would be the 20th. 5:30 p.m. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we want to make, like I said, I want to try to make it as big an event as possible. Not just because of this, but like in the future when Yeah, so it needs to be a big deal. In my opinion, I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
This is the day after Martin Luther King Day, right?
Yes, sir. Next Tuesday evening, 5:30 p.m. in the chambers.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Meeting adjourned.